Hey, welcome to another edition of BJB Today on this Monday. I'm Tim Critter. Down with BJ, what's up?
Not much, Tim. How are you?
I'm doing better than you. You're not feeling well, and hopefully you start feeling better soon.
It's game day week, so hopefully it gets better by Friday.
There you go. AJ and Austin will be doing the post-game show live from the Let It Fly Sports Bar on Friday evening. We should announce that. We should start pushing that a little bit. So make sure you
Absolutely.
come right here to this YouTube channel. You'll see it live. There, so there'll be a chat feature. You can ask questions and so forth too. So check it out. I think you'll enjoy it. And we will be doing it from all home games will be done live from Let It Fly, and then the road games we'll be doing right here on our Riverside platform as we have done the Blue Jay Banner today. And we've got more fun things in store. Speaking of which, I think this is a great time to segue to our sponsor, RTI Threads. They've joined us not only for Blue Jay Banner today, but also for the Blue Jay Banner postgame show. We're thankful of their sponsorship, and they've got a great line of Creighton gear. They have jerseys, which people don't know. They have jerseys both for women's and men's teams, authentic jerseys that you can buy. So you can buy Jackson McAndrew, Jason Green, whoever you want, and then also great line of products, summer, spring, winter, fall, everything. They cover it all. T-shirts, quarter zips, polos, long sleeve polos, everything you want. And they are the exclusive apparel provider of Blue Jay Banner. And as we get into the regular season, we're going to be doing a lot of like giveaways and different things with RTI Threads. So it's going to be exciting cooperation partnership with them, and then also like it'll be behoove you if you want to win some stuff to be on the show with us when we do the show. So great there. Also want to give a shout out to our other sponsor, Infusion Brewing Company. Thanks so much to Infusion. They've been a great sponsor for all these years. They've got their full line of beers out there right now. So go to infusionbrewing.com, check it all out. As long as this nice weather lasts, hey, you can go sit on the patio and enjoy a cold one. Also go to their tasting room, watch some football on the weekends. So it's a great spot. So check it all out. It's infusionbrewing.com. Okay, so last Thursday was media day. AJ and Austin were there. Unfortunately, we had some technical issues. We had the video, just the audio didn't work, and it was just we tried to do the best to enhance it. It still wasn't very good, so we decided not to put that product out there because I know what would happen. The first thing you get, hey, this audio is not very good. Yeah, we know that. So we would rather discuss with you what we talked. And look, we're going to have Jason Green, Jackson McAndrew, Josh Dix, and Isaac Trout are going to rotate. They're going to be our 4 players all season long for home games. So you're going to get plenty of insight. You're going to get to know these guys really well. You're going to have a lot of sit-downs with them. So don't feel like, hey, we're missing out here. You're not going to miss out. You're going to have plenty of coverage. Plus, I should mention, this year new for the road games, we're going to have a coach on after every game. So that's always exciting because when we lose games, they're usually road games, and it's kind of nice to have a coach on to discuss what happened. So so much for that. But anyway, so what we're going to do today, we're just going to go back and forth with I'm just going to throw it to AJ at first, and he talked to several players. So I know you started off, you talked with Isaac Trout. How was the conversation with Isaac, and what's going on with him?
Yeah, conversation went well. We're friends with Isaac after a couple rounds of golf this summer, and so there was some smack talk going on about golf next year with Austin, and so we'll see how that goes. The big thing with Isaac for his game that he's been working on is, quick release on the 3-point shot and developing that even more so than last year. And I've heard from a couple of the coaches and from him that he was shooting about 80% in pretty much every 3-point drill they were doing. So he is lighting it up in this offseason.
He is.
I've
been there several times, and he's just been so impressive.
Yeah, and on top of that, I've heard even from talking to him that he was attacking the hoop more, and I've seen it in practice when we go. So I'm really hoping he has a Rogge type 3-point shot this year and the ability to attack the hoop better than Raggi could. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. It was a good conversation, and he's ready for the year. He's ready to be a vocal leader. He talked a lot about that. We only have two seniors on this team, and both of which I believe are transfers in. So he's kind of the most tenured. He's a junior. He knows the system more than probably any other player. So he's ready to be a vocal leader and ready to get going.
Yeah, and what I've heard too is like there's actually he's performed so well. There's like action like discussion like, okay, how can we get him on the floor more? We got Jackson, we got Jason, like what can we do? So I think Mac's like scratching his head trying to figure out ways that we can morph him into the lineup more. And so
So this will be kind of a good segue into my conversation with Coach Ziegler, Trey Ziegler. One thing I asked him, and I think I even talked to Coach Huss about this as well, but one thing I asked them is like, what are we going to do about the 5 spot? With Owen coming in, being injured most of his time here, not being able to practice much with the team, Alexa getting his nose broken right when he got here, Karem signing late and just getting here. It was kind of like, what are we going to do? And that was one thing that stood out was, maybe we'll have Isaac start the 5 a couple times and, play a very widespread offense and just hope that we can, kind of pack the lane on defense and hope that Isaac can stand his ground. And so that would be an interesting way to get him on the floor as well if we had
yeah,
him at 5.
very Roggy like.
Mhm,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, and I know Mac likes I think that's probably something don't get me wrong. He's not upset with Kalkbrenner, obviously. By the way, Ryan Kalkbrenner,
7 for 7.
yeah, 14
Impressive.
points, 10 rebounds. That's not shabby. Um, and people said he couldn't play in the NBA. So and not that not that he'd trade Kalkbrenner for anybody, right? But I know that was like a piece that he really liked, to be able to move go small when he to throw the other team off and
Mhm.
create mismatches. And I know he kind of missed that the last few years. So I think it's something Mac will look at. Yeah.
Well, with how fast paced our offense is too, being able to spread the floor that much with a 5 that can shoot that well is going to be pretty dangerous on offense. It'll just come down to how much can we withstand on defensive end.
Right.
Can we be good enough on the defensive end? But it'll be a dangerous offense if we can do that.
Yeah. You spoke with Ty Davis. Now, speaking of, you mentioned Isaac about being one of the, returners, and so is Ty. Time and
Hmm.
time and time and time again, I hear coaches talk about Ty, and the first thing they say is he is the most vocal person out on the floor.
Yep. 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 So that's I did talk to him about that. He and I'll get into this more later, but as people are trying to figure out in their roles, he was kind of one that is like, I know my role on this team. It's to come in off the bench, bring energy, be a vocal leader. I'm going to do just that. I'm a true point guard. I'm going to help my teammates. I'm going to do whatever I can to help us win. And I love that answer. And it was, you know, he knew what to expect, what coaches were expecting out of him, and he seemed like he is ready to go.
That's that's really in a season where how many times have we talked about this, AJ? You know, well, is Jackson going to play the points? Going to play the 2? Is Graves going to play? Who's going to start there? Could you slide Fedor to the 3? Is Jason going to play all the 3? Or is he going to slide to the 4 once in a while? But that's crowded out. So many questions about people. It is unbelievable to hear a guy go, "Hey, I know what my role is. I'm a point guard.
Yep.
I'm coming in off the bench, and I'm going to create energy and go 100 miles an
Yep.
hour."
Yep. He was very set on that. And we even talked about how a lot of the team is still up in the air. And he was like, I know my role and I'm ready.
Yeah, that's amazing. I just love Ty. I love him so much.
He's awesome.
His shot has improved. I think he's shown a little more aptitude about going to the basket and finishing too. So I
Mhm.
think he's going to be
For
a,
sure.
a player when he gets in the game that people are going to say, "Wow, he's taking a step." Now look, because Ty's going to come in, he's going to play a lot of energy. He's going to play fast paced because he knows that's what Mac wants. There's going to be some
Mhm.
turnovers once in a while, but you got to live with
Yep.
those.
And I'm really curious to see how his 3-point shot will develop because, as you know, in practice, he lights it up.
Yeah, yeah.
How is that going to translate to the games? I think last year he was like 0 for 6 from 3, but sometimes it's hard to find the groove when you don't get the green light to shoot all the time, or you're just trying to create shots for other people. So that'll be one big thing that could really improve his game is 3-point shooting.
Absolutely. So who else did you talk to?
Yeah. I'm so sorry. Hudson Greer was a great interview.
How'd you man?
I can see why you like him a lot. He was, one really interesting thing he said was, I asked a lot of the players, like, if you could pick one teammate to play one-on-one right now, who would it be and why? And most of them are like, well, I'm going to pick someone I can beat, and, kind of joking around. Hudson goes, I want to play Blake Harper because he challenges me and he makes me so much better. And I
Wow.
just like,
Yeah.
great answer. And, you can just tell he has that drive in him. And as a freshman, that's a very, mature thing to say is like, I want to get better. So I want to play someone who's going to beat me a little bit. So yeah, he was a fun
Trying
interview. He's
trying to
super
think
excited
like
to
why
start.
he would pick Blake, like, you know,
Yeah.
like maybe because he's the one guy that's probably similar to him in, Jackson's not as quick as Hudson is.
hmm
Isaac isn't as quick as Hudson is. Blake is quicker and
My
you
other
know,
thought was Blake is just all around, right? Like he can shoot threes, he can drive, he's
yeah,
athletic, he's tall.
yeah.
Jackson is more like 3-point oriented, and
Fedoras can
it's
drive, but he's
Blake's
not as
very
big
much like
as Blake. Right.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's why he picked Blake,
Well,
but
maybe it's
that was
because Blake's struggling on the defensive end too.
maybe he made it sound like he wanted to lose. Like he made it sound like he was like, I want to get challenged.
Yeah.
That was an impressive answer from a young freshman.
Yeah, very impressive.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's a guy, again, one of the again, another guy. Like, we kinda know what his role is gonna be, like, he's definitely gonna come off the bench, but we really don't know how he's all gonna fit into the whole scheme offensively and defensively, you know?
Right. Yeah, and I'll be really curious to see how his shot translates to the college game because he had a good shot in high school, of
Yeah,
course. But is he going to be able to stand out at the college level? I don't
right,
know.
and we
Right.
see that, so many guys. Gosh, they just I'm trying to think of the latest one that was just like, say, I'm thinking around here, guys that just scored tons of points in high school and were great shooters, and they get to college and they just can't shoot.
Even Ty Davis, I mean,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah,
he was a really, really
yeah,
good shooter in high school, and then he comes here and he went 0 for 6
yeah,
his first
yeah,
year. It's like not only did he not make any, he only got 6
yeah.
up.
There's a good
So,
one. Yeah,
could that be a Hudson issue? I don't know.
yeah. We're talking about one of
You
the
know,
best players in the state of Alabama. You know,
yeah. Well,
that's
yeah,
crazy.
exactly. And you said this in one of the previous pods too, but like some people just shine when the lights come on. And so that could be him as well. Maybe he'll do better than we
Yeah,
expect.
see, that's where I think Hudson's going to be just fine. Yeah, uh, look, the competition he played with every day in practice last year was phenomenal. So, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. He talked about Montverde.
yeah,
He talked about how the game at Creighton is so much faster paced. And that's what a couple of the coaches said as well. The biggest thing about Creighton is how fast we play. So Hudson was like the physicality of the Big East and everything. Like I'm ready for that. I got that at Montverde. He goes, it's not the same, but like it was very physical. He goes, the speed is just the biggest adjustment.
yeah.
So
And I think we talked about this too. There was a practice a few weeks ago that uh, Mac said, "All right, everybody line up on the line." He made everybody run wind sprints. Everybody's got to be back down here in like 9 seconds, whatever it was. And they ran as fast as they could. And then Mac goes, "Okay, right there. That's how fast I want you to run up and down."
mhm,
And I think for the younger guys and newer guys are like, okay, I get it now."
yeah. So it even becomes more impressive that Kalkbrenner was able to play 40 minutes a game, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Pretty crazy. Yeah, let's see. We talked to Fedor for quite a bit.
How did it go with Fedora?
Yeah, it went really well. He was, his big thing that we kind of kept coming back to was how he was just so pumped to know that he can play. Cause he was like, last year, I didn't know until the day before that game that I could start playing. I didn't know if I was going to get eligibility at all. He's like, so it was like you kind of practice with the team, but not as much as you want.
Right.
And um, he was like, I'm just so excited this year to already have the green light and be full on board in practice. And like he was just waiting for that all year last year. And then he was talking about the Big East tournament and how he got injured during that. He's like, "So I really wanna get back to MSG and do that again too, because that was a blast and it got cut short because of his injury." So, yeah, he was just obviously like all the other ones, like, ready to go, and he was bummed about last year and the eligibility stuff, and he wasn't even sure he was gonna get cleared this year, but he found out not too long ago that he was fully cleared to play, so he's ready.
Yeah, Fedor's funnier than people think he is. He's got a pretty good sense of
Yeah,
humor.
he was good.
Yeah, yeah. I
Good
know
interview.
you chat briefly with Coach Huss. What did he have to say?
Yeah, with him, we talked a lot about the 5 spot, as I mentioned earlier, and just like the roles with each player. And when I said I was going to come back to this later, this is what I meant is he was just talking about how there aren't a lot of defined roles right now. Like he was like, we just don't. He's like, we normally the last couple of years, especially with Kalkbrenner here, we kind of knew every position, who was starting, who was getting majority of the minutes. He's like, these exhibition games will be really telling to see like where people fall. And so that was a lot of the conversation was how are people going to find their roles, and then we talked about the 5 spot and how that will be probably by committee to start the year, meaning it'll be some Isaac, some Alexa, some Karem, and if Owen's ready to play, some Owen obviously, and just kind of see what works. And he was very careful to say like, whatever Coach Mack decides we're going to do at the 5 is what we're going to do. And I just think that right now it's up for grabs in a way to start the season, and so, yeah, that was a lot of the conversation.
And I would admit,
Because keep in we only had, like, 2 or 3 minutes with each,
right?
you know,
Yeah, I should
player coach.
explain that. I didn't set that up very well. Yeah, I mean, this thing happens like it's 40, 45 minutes. I want to tell you something. That time goes by like that. Like you think you
Well, it's
have
also
tons
that,
of
and it's
time and you don't.
part of that time is the team picture, so it's like that cuts into it too. I think they set the clock for, like, 26 minutes after everything was done, and that's how long you had
Yeah.
to interview,
Yeah.
and there were news
A
stations
lot of
waiting in
guys,
line
yeah,
to.
you've got the 3 news stations, they're all taking up time, and it just it takes time to get people around, you gotta grab them. You gotta boom, 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 and on to the next, and there's
Yep,
not a lot of time,
exactly.
and, that's why you're gonna enjoy, Jackson. We didn't talk to Jack. The only one we talked to out of the group was Isaac because we have Jackson, Jason, and, um Josh Dix on our post-game show, so they're gonna rotate through, so you're gonna get to know these guys, and we're gonna have more time to talk to them about the game and the games and how they're feeling and their position and get to know them a little bit too, so that's good as well.
Yeah. Yeah, so with that being said, with Coach Huss, that was the majority of the conversation is just, how has it been being back? And he was thrilled to be back. He had a great experience at High Point, but he was, like every other coach that I talked to, we're so high on Coach Mack, and they're happy to be here and part of this culture and join with Coach Mack and join his amazingly successful coaching tree. So
Yeah, finally, I wanna ask you, did any players talk about the exhibition game against Iowa State? Because I mean, it's a pretty
yeah,
level exhibition game.
well, I actually asked more of the coaches about that game than the players, but a lot of them were like, we don't really have. They're like, of course we don't want to lose, right? Like that's obvious, but they don't really have like a set plan of like what they're going to do necessarily. It's more like, let's try different lineups. Let's see what works, kind of throw things at the wall, see what sticks. Like, it'll be very interesting to see because of the lack of role clarity across the team. Just like who starts at the 4, who starts at the 1. Is it going to be Graves or is it going to be Ty Davis or is it going to be Josh Dix? Like we just don't. I do think for what it's worth, Josh Dix is more going to start at the 2, but the most of the exhibition game talk is just like trying and seeing what
Yeah,
works.
yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting, like, I don't know, like, in their secret scrimmages with Iowa State, I don't know what they did, but it'll be interesting to see if TJ goes to his full bore defense where, you know, every time you play Iowa State, everybody's drilling their head, "Do not dribble the baseline," because that's what they want you to do, and then they come with their trap, and you're done. And so,
Right.
it disrupts your whole offense. So it'll be interesting if he comes with that full board thing or knows we're gonna play him, although he knows Mac knows what he does, and he knows what Mac does, and, yeah, so they know each other so well. So I don't know. I think they can just basically throw it all out there. Who cares? Like, because they both are just going to have to do adjustments every time they play each other. So, that,
Well, it's like, what we're talking about was like, obviously it's a good thing we have a lot of depth, right? Like we have a ton of talent on our team, and then the bad thing becomes, well, the season's here and we don't really know how to even practice because we don't really have set lineups. So it's kind of like, I mean, even the practices we've been, the blue team and the white team have kind of changed every single time.
right.
So, it's a good and bad thing. But obviously, I think we'd side on the good side with having a lot of depth and talent
Yeah.
and just trying to figure out what to do with
Yeah.
it.
Well, AJ, that was great. Thanks so much for that. Really appreciate it. Um, and look forward to these guys, AJ and Austin, on Friday night, right after the game. So if you are either not going to the game or you're staying home watching the Husker game for you Jaskers, or you live out of state and you can't go to the game and you're listening on TV and the TV's over, immediately jump on our YouTube channel because we'll be going on within, no, I'd say 15 minutes of the final horn and kicking it off. And we've got a full lineup of guests coming on. I know our one guest, the coach, is going to be assistant coach Steve Murfeld, so he'll join us. And then the player is yet to be determined in that cycle of 4 players that we're going to have this year. So it's going to be a lot exciting. We're excited for AJ and Austin to kick it off. Thanks so much. Thanks, AJ. Appreciate it. Have a great week.
Thanks, Tim. You too.